Hello students, in this video we are going to study the process schedulers. So what is scheduler here? A scheduler is a special type of system software that allows you to handle the processing. Okay, schedulers are nothing but the software which handles the process scheduling. Okay, in a various ways. So what is the main task of the scheduler? It is going to select the job is nothing but it is going to select the process to be submitted into the system. That is nothing to it is going to submit to the CPU for the sake of execution. That is nothing but the scheduler is nothing but a software that allows you to handle the processing. So how it is going to allow the main task is nothing but it is going to select the number of processes which are ready for the execution. Those processes are to be submitted into the CPU for the execution. So here again the schedulers are of three types, namely long term scheduler, short term scheduler and medium term scheduler. So we'll see one by one. So first we'll study long term scheduler. So what is long term scheduler here? The another name of a long term scheduler is a job scheduler. So what is long term scheduler here? So it brings the new process to the ready state, means the number of processes are to be run into our system. Okay, so it brings the new processes to the ready state. It also controls the degree of multiprogramming. So what is degree of multiprogramming here? The degree of multiprogramming is the number of processes that are present in the ready state at a given time, you can say. It brings the new process to the ready state. Okay, what is the task of long term scheduler? Every time it brings the new processes to the ready state or ready queue, you may even call. It controls the degree of multiprogramming. So what is degree of multiprogramming? The number of processes present in the ready state at current time. Okay, so what is next is short term scheduler. So what is short term scheduler here? So short term scheduler is the responsibility for selecting one process from ready state for scheduling it on the running state. Means whenever the number of various processes are waiting in the ready state, we need to take one by one for the execution. So ready queue means they are in whichever the processes are present in the ready queue, those all will be in the ready state. So we have to take the each process from ready state to running state. So that is the main task of a short term scheduler. So you can see here it is short term scheduler is responsible for selecting one process from ready state to running state, you can say. So short term scheduler only it is going to select the process for the scheduling. It is not going to load the process for the running state. Only it choose the process which process to be run. Okay, so now it does not load the processes. Okay, so now the one more term we are going to use here, the dispatcher. So what I told, now short term scheduler is going to only select the process for the execution, that is ready state to running state we have to move. So which process has to be select, that is the responsibility of a short term scheduler. So now one more thing I told, that it does not load the process. So which is going to load the process? So dispatcher is going to load the process. Okay, so dispatcher is going to load the process selected by the short term scheduler, okay, in the CPU, that is ready to running state. So we already know, we have discussed the context switching. So context switching is nothing but we are moving from one state to another. It may be a ready to run or run to ready or any states. It may be a terminate, it may be a waiting. Okay, so context switching is done by whom? The context switching is done by the dispatcher. So it does the following. It is going to perform the three main tasks So which are the main task of a dispatcher here? It is going to switching the context, means we are shifting from one state to another state. One more is even we may switch to user mode. So user mode and two modes are, as already we have discussed, that is user mode and kernel modes are the two modes of a operating system. So it may switch the context. Switching the context is nothing but we are moving from one state to another. Similarly, switching to user mode means if we are in a kernel mode, if necessary we have to switch to this user mode. Similarly, we have to jump from one proper location in the newly loaded program. So these are the three main tasks performed by the dispatcher, you can say. So similarly, in next video I will explain the various types of scheduling algorithms. So before explaining the various types of scheduling algorithms, you should know why it is necessary to use the scheduling algorithms. So there are various algorithms which has been, okay, one more I left, medium term scheduler. So it is responsible for suspending and resuming the process. So third scheduler is medium term scheduler. So it is medium term scheduler. It is responsibly for it is the responsibility of medium term scheduler is that it's suspending and resuming the process. Suppose the particular process has been suspended or blocked for the particular time, so after that particular time expires or time out, we have to reschedule that same process once again. So that is done by the medium term scheduler. Okay, so it is nothing but it is nothing but swapping. It mainly does the swapping. So swapping is nothing but we are moving the processes from main memory to the disk or disk to memory, that is vice versa. So after this we have to study the scheduling algorithms. So before studying the scheduling algorithm, there are certain criteria or for what purpose we have to use the scheduling algorithms, you should know. So hence the first criteria or the first purpose of scheduling algorithm is it maximizes the CPU utilization. So how it is going to maximize the CPU utilization? So it maximizes CPU utilization. So we already know that in a particular system or in a particular computer we are running the various processes. So how the CPU is going to utilize the it is going to maximize the CPU. So by scheduling algorithms, even we may maximize the utilization of our CPU. So second is fair allocation of CPU, means we can allocate the particular processes for the particular time. So that is nothing but the fair allocation of CPU. So maximum throughput. So maximum throughput is nothing but you can see here throughput is nothing but it is the amount of work completed in a unit of time. Suppose the process is executing, so how much time or how much duration it is going to take for that particular particular process is nothing but the throughput. So you may say here for long processes it may be a 1 hour for one process, or for short transactions it may be a 10 processes per second, you can say. So similarly it minimizes the turnaround time, and it even minimize the waiting time, and it minimize the response time. So what is this minimize, etc.? So one more before discussing the turnaround time and waiting time, so there are three more terms has been explained here. So what is arrival time here? So arrival time is nothing but time at which the process is going to be arrived in the ready queue. It may be a 0th second, it may be a 1th second, it may be a second, third, 4th second. Arrival means the time at which the process is going to be arrived in the ready queue or in ready state, even you may call. So completion time is what here? The time at which the process completes its execution. Okay, so time at which the process completes its execution time. So how much time it has been taken for completing that process, that is nothing but the completion time. So what I told, throughput is the amount of work completed in a unit of time, means in per unit, in per second, or in 1 second, the how much process has been executed, that is the different thing, and completion time is different here. So what is burst time here? So burst time is nothing but time required by a process for the CPU execution. So it is nothing, burst is different and arrival is different, and similarly completion time. So time, how much means burst time is nothing but how the CPU is going to take how much time for that particular execution. That is nothing but the burst time. So time required by a process for CPU just for the execution of that process. So what is turnaround time here? So turnaround time you may call here the time difference between the completion time and the arrival time. So at which time it has been arrived in the ready queue and the completion time, so that we need to do the deduction, or even you may call the interval from the time of submission of a process to the time of a completion, that is nothing but completion time minus arrival time. Okay, so even the turnaround time, it may includes the, it is the sum of periods spent waiting to get into the memory. You can say turnaround time is nothing but it includes all the waiting time plus waiting time in the ready queue and even executing in the CPU, and even for input output if it may requires resources like input output. Similarly waiting time, so waiting time is nothing but it is the sum of periods spent waiting in the ready queue. So how much time it has been waited in the ready queue, that is nothing but the waiting time. So there is one more word called it minimize the response time I told. So what is response time here? The response time is nothing but it is the time spent between the ready state getting the CPU for the first time. Suppose the process has arrived in the ready state, so from there it has been went to the CPU, so at which it may be a blocked that process may be blocked several times, but we have to consider response time is what here. Response time is what? It is the time spent between the ready state getting into the CPU for the first time. So suppose the one P1 process is executing or it is waiting in the ready queue or in ready state. Suppose it gets it is scheduled for the execution for the first time. So we need to consider the first time. It may be blocked several times, and again if it is blocked we need to again go back to the ready state. So but we need to consider here the for what first time it has been went for the CPU. So that is nothing but the response time. So you need to remember this terms, because this turnaround time, waiting time, completion time, arrival time, burst time we are going to see in each algorithm of our CPU scheduling algorithm. So there are various scheduling algorithms are there that we will going to discuss in the next video. So before that you should know this, what is scheduler, types of scheduler and these terms. Okay, thank you.